What's up everybody, Quirk here, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can improve upon your current explosive chain battle scores. Unless they're already super high. And to start, let's talk about explosive chain battle. Explosive chain battle came out on the international version of Dokkan on Thursday night, late Thursday night. Y'all remember that day? The day that Dokkan was closed because of a maintenance? Yeah, that day. Well, anyways, as you probably already know, it's been out in JP since May, so some of the players were already aware of what to do, but still a majority of players had no idea and still don't have an idea. Now, I've spent the last few days playing, researching, and figuring out the key to this game mode, and to be honest, it's all RNG based. However, there are ways that you can improve your chances, so let's get into it. So first I want to start off with your attacker. This unit is going to be your unit, and I emphasize your because a lot of the units that you're going to be using are not going to be yours actually, they're going to be your friends. Now after that, I'm going to be talking about support bench, your connectors, and then we'll move on to gameplay, which is barely anything. But it's still very crucial. Every little thing needs to be done to the best of your ability or it's just not going to work. Also, once again, it's all based on RNG. Now as for your attacker, you want to pick someone who is either an advantageous character or has categories that are advantageous against the boss. So looking at advantageous characters, we have Ultimate Gohan, Mr. Satan, and we have Good Majin Buu. Now if you're looking to use an attacker that's an advantageous character, I say stick to either Dokkan Fest Ultimate Gohans or LR Mr. Satan's. Save Good Majin Buu for your connector, and I'll talk about that in a second. Now it doesn't have to be an advantageous character. It can be a unit that has categories that are advantageous against the boss, which is what I do. For this specific event, there are 3 specific categories that you need to look at. Majin Buu Saga, Super Saiyan 3, and Fusion. Fusion's the last one. And which unit has all 3 of these categories? Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. So if you were planning on using an attacker that fits the categories, I'd say stick to any of the Dokkan Fest Super Saiyan 3 Gotenkses. So that's the first thing you want to look at when you're trying to choose your attacker. The second thing you want to look at for choosing your attacker is seeing what their super attack level is and how far they are in the hidden potential system. So let's say you have a rainbow version of Super Saiyan 3 physical Gotenks. Maybe use that over a 55% Dokkan Fest Ultimate Gohan. Now the third thing you want to look at when choosing your attacker is their stats. I don't know how big of a deal HP and defense do in your damage output, but I'm pretty sure attack stat makes a difference. And who has the highest attack stat on my team out of my units? Tech Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Now moving on, let's look at the support bench. This is a two-way system because you have your own support bench and every person on your friend list has their own as well if they've actually done the game mode. So let's start with your support bench. Now as you can see, you have a super and an extreme type bench. As the name suggests, only super units can be on the super type bench and only extreme units can be on the extreme type bench. The whole point in building a strong support bench is to help your friends. Make a good support bench. If your bench sucks, then people are just going to unfriend you and then you're going to lose their units, and you don't want that. Now, build both of your benches with the same units that are advantageous to Buu. So if you have a bunch of Ultimate Gohans, put all those on the team. Heck, even put some Teen Gohans in there from the Majin Buu arc. Those would be good. Put Gotenks on that bench. People love using benches that have both Ultimate Gohan and Gotenks available. And put LR, Mr. Satan, and Good Majin Buu if you have them. If you don't have that many of those units, then look more into the advantageous categories. Try to find units that have multiple. These will be units that are glowing blue, just to let you know. Now looking at your friends bench, like you, each of your friends built a 10-person bench for super and extreme. However, only 6 of their units pop up, and this is just off chance. This is all RNG based. Now I've tried to test it, and it seems that around every 30-minute mark, so let's say like 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, seems like every 30-minute mark the teams refresh. So if you don't like any of the units that pop up on your friends' benches, then wait until that 30-minute mark and check again and see if it's refreshed. Now as for picking your super support bench, pick a bench that has a lot of Ultimate Gohan units or Team Gohan units, preferably Ultimate Gohan units, and Gotenks units. Okay? Try to stray away from Mr. Satan units, like LR, Mr. Satan, and Good Majin Buu, because their links don't mix well, their categories don't mix as well with the other units. Now as for your extreme bench, try to pick a bench that has both STR Good Majin Buu and physical Good Majin Buu. If you're not able to find a bench that has both, at least one would be good enough, but both is definitely the way you want to go. Make sure the rest of the team consists of good Majin Buus or Buus as well. Try to stay away from Majin Vegetas or even Deborah. Now, my personal experience, I've found that the more advantageous characters you have will result in a better score. So for example, a team with an SSR Tech Good Majin Buu will be more effective than having a Dokkan Fest TUR Buuhan. Which brings us to our last tip on friend benches. If there are dupes of advantageous characters on a bench, pick that bench. For example, if you see a bench with TUR, STR, Ultimate Gohan, and SSR, STR, Ultimate Gohan, pick that team. These units basically have the same link sets and categories, so the multipliers are just going to increase way more than if you were to pick different units. Having dupes of the same units is great for this game mode. Now moving on, we're going to be looking at your connectors. You need to provide your very own super and extreme connectors. And these units have to synergize very well with your bench. So if you have a full team of Ultimate Gohans, please don't pick LR, Majin Buu, and Mr. Satan. It's not going to work well. They don't share that many categories or as many links as another Ultimate Gohan would provide. Now for this event, the Majin Buu event, I've kind of ranked my connectors by most valuable to least valuable that you want to use. In the most valuable category, I'd say STR or Intelligence Ultimate Gohan. In the second tier, I'd say either Tech or Physical Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. And then in the final tier, I'd say either Physical or AGL Ultimate Gohan, because these units are going to share, well, first off, I'm basing them off of power, advantageous characters, and then categories, but then their links also mix well with the optimal benches, I'd say. Now as for your extreme connectors, I say stick to two. Either STR Good Majin Buu or Physical Good Majin Buu. That's it. Anything other than that, you're not going to be shooting for your high score. Now, if you want to know how well your connectors synergize with your bench, this is what I typically do. I typically pick a random bench and then I pick my main connectors. So I'll pick, let's say, this bench right here, and then I'll get my connector. I typically go with STR Ultimate Gohan. After I do that, I just start looking at different benches. You want a bench that synergizes well enough with your connector so that your chain power reaches the maximum level. In other words, when the lightning starts sparking. If you have multiple teams that cause the lightning to spark, then click on the details button and check out how many categories, types, and link skills your connector shares with your bench. Preferably you want the categories to be 30 or higher. If you can get at least 3 for a type, then that is solid, but 2 is good as well. As for link skills, 30 or higher should suit you well. And that is basically the team building portion of the explosive chain battle. Before going into gameplay, let's talk about limits though. So your attacker has no limits. You can use your attacker as many times as you want in a given day. As for your connectors and friend supports, those are only limited to once per day. They will refresh at reset time. For me, who lives in Central Time, that is 7 o'clock p.m. But it's different for all of us. If you want to use your connector and friend supports again, then you're going to have to use 1 Dragon Stone. This is limited to 5 times per day, so keep that in mind. After that 5th time of using a Dragon Stone, you're done. Can't use that support or your connectors again. So finally, we've made it to the gameplay portion. This will be short because there's only one thing you do in this section, which is picking 3 units to attack Super Boo, or whoever you're fighting. Now there are multiple things to be aware of when picking your units. First things first, you need to pick fast. I'm saying less than a second fast. 2, your units need to synergize with each other, alright? They need to have multiple categories shared, they need to have multiple links shared, so don't go picking 3 advantageous characters that are different like Ultimate Gohan, Mr. Satan, and Good Majin Buu. It's not going to work. Make sure you get the same unit if you can. So if you have a bunch of Ultimate Gohans, pick all the Ultimate Gohans. If you see a bunch of Good Majin Buus, pick all those. 3, the better off your units are in the potential system, the better the attack output, okay? So this is, you can't tell this during the game, but if they're rainbowed, that's the easiest way to indicate if they're far off in the dupe system. They're 100%. So if you have multiple units that synergize well with each other and they're rainbow, then you're good to go. 4, these units don't have to synergize with your attacker. If your attacker is Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, feel free to pick 3 Ultimate Gohans. Or if your unit is Ultimate Gohan, feel free to pick 3 Good Majin Buus. As long as they share the same links with each other and not the attacker, you're fine. And 5, this is the worst thing about this. These units are random. I know, it sucks. It's based on RNG. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. If you don't get the units that you want to pop up, then finish, spend a Dragon Stone, pick them again. Now these are things you have to be aware of, but how can you pull that off so fast? How can you know which units are the best units in less than a second and pick them all at the same time? Well, if any of you have seen Garesh's video over Explosive Chain Battle, he pointed out that if you open up your app wheel, I don't know what it's called. For example, double tapping or pulling up on the iPhone will do this, you know? It'll pause the screen. Do this. Now once you have it paused, take time to look at the units and review the things that I mentioned above. Now once you know which units you want to pick them as fast as you can, and then watch the attacker do the attacking. Now again, I'm going to just reiterate this. The characters that pop up is random. The characters that pop up one time aren't going to be the same characters that pop up the other time. So if you loved your benches, if you thought, man, this is the perfect team to get me the highest score I want, but you didn't get it because the units they gave you sucked, spend a Dragon Stone and try again. It's frustrating. Sometimes you're going to be really lucky and sometimes you're not. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm sorry if that was long, but I wanted to be as thorough as I could. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments, or you can even let me know in my Discord. I'll leave a link to that in the description. If you like this video, leave a like, and maybe hit that subscribe button. This has been Corkle Cesti. I hope I was able to help you out. Also, post your scores down below in the comments. I'd love to see them. Alright, I'm signing out. Peace.